And if the red-clad child was just a rumor, why did everyone keep asking what was buried there in the 1950s? I'm Kim, and this is Hung Channel.
Do you know the legend of the Red-Clad Figure of Admiralty? In 1981, a new Hong Kong tower was ready to open, until three night guards met terrifying fates, one after another. Some blamed coincidence. Others whispered something believed the building had awakened. By the end of this story, you may never look at an elevator to B3 the same way again. Chapter 1. The Red-Clad Child of Admiralty. In 1981, Hong Kong was in the midst of rapid transformation, especially in Admiralty. Shopping malls and office towers were sprouting skyward, their glass and steel skeletons stitched into the city's heart by new MTR lines and sky bridges. Redevelopment devoured old districts piece by piece. And in this relentless wave of progress, a little-known incident began to spread quietly among the city's night watchmen. The site was a newly completed commercial tower, gleaming on the outside, but still awaiting official tenants. Beneath its polished facade lurked darker whispers. Locals say the foundation sat atop an older ruin, one that, in the 1950s, had served as a hideout for child traffickers. Children abducted from the streets were locked away in hidden rooms. Many never survived. When the site was excavated, construction workers reportedly unearthed fragments of small bones. But the discovery was quickly hushed up, buried both in the ground and in silence. The building was finished, opening as a proud new landmark in Admiralty. For the men tasked with guarding it at night, however, the story had only begun. Chapter 2. First Death, Suffocation. Li Kong, an ordinary salaryman, stumbled into the job by chance, answering a tiny classified ad tucked into the back of the newspaper. Alongside him were a handful of colleagues. Uncle Hong, the oldest and most seasoned, Fatty, the joker of the group, and a middle-aged guard nicknamed Mr. Kowloon. One night, they gathered in the security room for hot pot, the steam curling like mist against the CCTV monitors. Laughter filled the room, pushing away the loneliness of the midnight shift. Then, without warning, every monitor fizzed into static. At that exact moment, Mr. Kowloon clutched his throat. His face darkened, eyes bulging. He collapsed, thrashing in terror, as if something invisible had seized him. By the time the others realized what was happening, a tiny shard of bone had lodged in his windpipe. Paramedics failed to revive him. The coroner called it an accident, but the men swore, as the monitors died, they had seen a flicker in the corner of the screen, a child-sized figure clad in red. Thus, the whispers began. The red-clad child had claimed his first victim. Chapter 3. The Second Death, The Kitchen Fire. Just days later, Uncle Hong died at home. Neighbors heard clattering in his kitchen, then silence. When the police forced open the door, the scene chilled them. Hong lay collapsed before the stove, eyes rolled back, blood sipping from his nose and ears. The stovetop was charred black, as though flames had erupted from within. Across the soot were faint, unmistakable prints, tiny handprints, pressed into the blackened surface as if something small had tried to claw its way out. A Taoist priest summoned to the scene declared the stove to be the gate of life in every household. With Hong's weak birth chart, the portal had been forced open, allowing spirits to enter. Li Kyung began to realize his own employment was no accident. Born in the darkest alignment, yen year, yen month, yen day, yen hour, his fate was primed for something far beyond coincidence. The priest warned him the red-clad child was not after him, but after the unborn child in his wife's womb. Chapter 4. The Third Death. The tunnel crash. Fatty, usually the most cheerful, could no longer hide his fear. He handed in his resignation and packed to leave the city. But as he drove through a tunnel, tragedy struck. The CCTV from that tunnel was later reviewed. In the grainy black and white footage, the back seat of Fatty's car appeared empty, until, for a split second, a red blur rippled in the frame, swaying like the silhouette of a small child. Seconds later, the car slammed into the tunnel wall. Fatty was killed instantly, his body broken beyond saving. 3 men dead in mere weeks. The building's grand opening was quietly postponed. Rumors spread faster than the escalators could carry shoppers. Some said the ghosts of trafficked children were seeking vengeance. Others whispered the red-clad child was choosing a vessel to return to the living. Chapter 5. The Haunting Presence. Every incident carried the same trace, the figure of a boy in crimson. Some claimed to see him standing in the mirrored walls of the elevators, just out of reach. Others swore his reflection surfaced in the water of the plaza fountain. In the basement, guards reported hearing eerie nursery rhymes, sung in thin, overlapping voices. More than once, the building's lifts descended by themselves, always to B3, the legend knitted together. In the 1950s, police had pursued missing child cases across the district, countless posters plastered on lampposts, and beneath the very ground of Admiralty, children were imprisoned, their lives ended in silence. Among them, one spirit lingered strongest, the cruelest of them all, the red-clad child. It did not care for justice, it did not care for morality. It chose whom it wanted, and once chosen, there was no escape. Li Kong, with his cursed birth chart and his pregnant wife, had already been marked. Chapter 6. The Struggle. The Taoist priest gave him only one chance, sealed the 3 geomantic gates within the tower, and destroyed his household stove to sever the spirit's passage. But by then, his wife had changed, her face pale, her lips a raw, unnatural red. She craved the innards, rearranged the furniture at night, and forbade her husband from moving anything back. When Kyung raised the hammer to smash the stove, his wife clutched at her swollen belly, sobbing that he would kill the unborn child. His resolve broke. He lowered the hammer. The priest, mortally wounded by unseen forces days later, gasped his final words. Its bones, the storm drain on B3, find them, seal them with your blood. Kyung descended alone into the basement. The corridors were shrouded in greenish mist, the air heavy and wet. At the far end, he saw a figure, Mr. Kowloon, long dead, standing motionless, raising a hand in a grotesque, beckoning gesture. Then the elevator doors groaned open beside him. From within spilled the laughter of children, high and brittle. A small figure stepped into view, the red-clad child. Its smile was that of an innocent schoolboy, yet stretched far too wide, far too long. Kyung stumbled toward the storm drain. Inside lay brittle bones, small and fragile. He slashed his palm and let the blood drip down. The liquid spread across the white surface, staining it red. The child's laughter rose into a shriek. At last, it whispered in a voice like falling rain, "Your blood is mine." Chapter 7. The Uncertain End. What happened next is contested. Some say Kung managed to bind the spirit, if only for a while. Others say he was tricked, that by offering blood, he allowed the red-clad child to be reborn. What is known is this. His wife went into labor soon after. She was rushed to the hospital, her body frail, her lips the color of clotted blood. She delivered a child. Whether it was human or something else entirely remains an unanswered question. Through the years, the story became one of Hong Kong's most chilling urban legends. Some insist it was just a ghost tale of the 1980s, later adapted into film. Yet others swear the 3 dead guards were real, their deaths aligning eerily with the tower's delayed opening. Even in the 1990s, late shift security claimed to hear children laughing in the parking garage or saw elevators descending by themselves to B3. Pregnant women reported sudden dizziness when passing through the mall, and some whispered they heard a child's voice singing in their ear. The tale of the red-clad child unsettles not through gore or spectacle, but through its suffocating inevitability. It does not spare the innocent, nor punish only the guilty. Once chosen, you are bound to it, no matter what you believe. Today, the Admiralty Tower bustles with shoppers and office workers, its lights bright and corridors clean. Yet those who know the story cannot help but wonder. In the storm drains beneath their feet, do the bones still lie waiting? And is the red-clad child still there, humming his lullaby behind someone's shoulder, waiting for the next bloodline to claim?
I'm Kim. Please subscribe, like, and share. And stay with me. You will never face the dark unknown.